I represent Christians in my manga. And to my Christians, you're either gonna love this video or you're gonna fucking hate it. So we do have a Christ-esque figure known as Christ of the 11 Blades. And he is actually part of an adventuring group called the Trinity, where you have Muhammad the Prophet and you have Buddha as a collective group. And they are not active figures in the lore, they are historical figures, but Christ's last appearance was in the Deja, which is where demons go at layer 666. He went and absolutely slaughtered his way all the way down to the last recorded layer. He did this because he knew mortals had no chance, at least in his time, of fighting back the wave of demons should they break out of the Deja, so he took that cross upon his own back in order to go into the Deja to defend all mortals. And the Trinity went there as a collective group in order to save mortals. Now, the Trinity has not been heard from since, though. So now that we've gotten Christ out of the way, in terms of active lore, we're the Christians. And so we have two locations that could probably best represent Christianity. Because Christianity is not just one thing. In terms of Christians, there are many different types, and I'm not going to put them all in a single bubble. The first location we're going to talk about is in the Creighton Desert, which is home to Yokohama and the god of summer season. The reason that I point to Yokohama first is because Stroke is very Christian-like in the way that he handles ruling mortals. And that's because he has given mortals his holy text, and then he's completely hands-off. He has no interest in ruling over mortals as a god king. His philosophy is, I have given you my books of holy text to get you into heaven, hell, and everywhere in between. If you follow my rules, which should make a darn good society of caring and loving individuals, then great. When you're done, you go to heaven. But if you fail to uphold my text in your mortal life, you will go to down below. And that is why his society is the most corrupt. Because while absolutely you do have individuals that absolutely prioritize following his word of love and just caring for your neighbor, but a lot more of them have taken his religion and used it as a pole to climb the political tower and to influence the world to better themselves. So that's why even in his church, his main archpriest is not even a divine caster, because he doesn't follow the holy text. And Stroke doesn't care because he's not there to manage mortals. He's there to basically be a god. And mortals having choice is one of the most important things to him, because why should he judge you when he has threatened you? But if he gives you complete freedom to make your choice, then you have no excuse when you end up in the afterlife. And Stroke has the most denominations out of any other god because of how hands-off he is and how divided his own church is. A lot of people interpret his text in a lot of different ways. So people truly have to have faith that they are interpreting his word appropriately. Because if you go up to Stroke, hey sir, what does this line in your holy text mean? He's going to look at you and tell you, figure it out. I'm not going to interpret anything. This is on you. I gave you the text. It's black and white. Make a decision on your own. Use the brain I gave you to figure it out. But the last thing about Stroke is his divine casters are, like his reverends that have divine power are some of the most caring and loving individuals you will ever see, because they understand the text, they understand the history about it, and they do their best to teach. But there's not a lot of them, and the masses tend to prefer the big people at the top who are very charismatic with a lot of reach, a lot of money, and will tell them what they want to hear rather than what the reverends will tell them they need to do per the holy text. And the Crusaders are the most zealot people. They are fire and brimstone to the end. They have no problem cutting people up, hanging them upside down for breaking the text. They don't care. And they are some of the most knowledgeable Crusaders of any god, because they, like reverends, really take the holy text seriously. And they do not tolerate their religion being misinterpreted. But the last location we're going to talk about right now in terms of Christianity would be the Great Collection, in the sense that the Great Collection technically does worship something called the mortal soul. It is what binds all mortals together, but they have no divine casters. Even in a world where you have gods on the plane that you can observe, and every single one of them has divine casters, the mortal soul of the Great Collection does not have divine caster. The mortal soul is completely intolerant of any other religion coming into the Great Collection to the point that they will burn you. They will put you on a pike in front of everyone else, and they have put a massive educational budget into teaching this to generations of people in the Great Collection. So as a society as a whole, they are incredibly intolerant of anything outside of their religion. Those of the Great Collection that do follow the mortal soul, but do also believe that there should be empathy put in place to people who believe differently than them, they do spread a good message, but the masses and a lot of their peers take that as very heretical speech. So there are good people that share a message of love and empathy, that we are all mortals regardless of who you worship, but they are a lot of times silenced or ostracized by a lot of their religious peers. And to me, that is the representation that I have chosen to depict in my lore, the good and the bad side of Christians. But see, my mangas are free to